Is it really necessary? One of the questions I want to ask is like, is it really necessary to truly meet with everybody face to face? Traveling in the last few days, luckily, I didn't have to travel too much, but already, like, if I look at the amount of time it took me to go from point A to point B during the holidays, how quick it was, and I kept to the speed limits, and all of it was great. And then when was it? Yesterday, I had to go, or Tuesday, I had to go to first to because I live in Krugersdorp, so I had to go to Bergbron, which is further into Roodepoort, and then from there I had to go to Fourways. And it took me an hour and a half to do that, which in the holiday would be about half an hour to 35 minutes. And, I'm just more and more becoming aware of the amount of time that we're spending in our cars. Now, some people have been very innovative, and they have actually appointed a driver. So they've employed a driver to drive them. I know of people who've set up vans with a whole office in the back. So between clients, they are doing work and all of that. And that does work. It does come at a cost. So one of the things that I've been contemplating this year is that, is it really necessary? One of the questions I want to ask is like, is it really necessary to truly meet with everybody face to face? I mean, something like this, we've been using Zoom quite a lot, which is a fantastic tool. And we've been able to have meetings where I find that those meetings, number one, does not last as long as the face-to-face meetings, because usually you get together face-to-face and you have a whole chat about other stuff, and then you keep on talking and talking and talking and talking. And I don't know, sometimes one or both of the people in the meeting doesn't want to tell the other one, listen, it's time to go. But when you've got this online meeting, it is almost like there's more of an urgency to get the meeting done. So I'm not saying it's perfect. I guess there's definitely a place for building relationships on a personal level when you do it face to face, and it is necessary. But I think we must become more aware of the amount of time that we invest into those meetings, because it's not only the hour that you spend with that client face to face, it is the half an hour or an hour to get there, and the half an hour or 3 hours if there's an accident getting back. So from that point of view, I think we must get more clever about how we use our time. Who do we actually still go and see? And I've been preaching for quite a long time, and I guess preaching is a strong word, but I've been advocating for people to start seeing clients at their offices. Now, when you don't have offices, specifically, there's a lot of advisors working from home these days. They don't have the setup where they can just meet with clients. And it does make it more difficult, so they do tend to go see them. And on that point as well, I would rather say go see them at their place of business or their home, rather than seeing them at coffee shops. I see a lot of advisors seeing people at coffee shops, and I'm just asking the question, what does that say about our professionality? And I just think that we need to reconsider meeting with clients. If it's on one hand, I guess fine if you want to meet with them and you just want to have a chat and see if you want to work with them. But once we start talking about their personal information, their financial information, I don't know, sometimes clients say, yeah, let's meet at Mug and Bean. I don't think it is so professional, because I go to coffee shops a lot, obviously, you can see. And I get to see, every time I get there, there's a couple of advisors meeting with clients, sitting, explaining quotes and all these kind of things to their clients. And I'm just thinking like, I don't know, that's not professional. And going from there, I've been writing a lot and starting to talk, or I haven't written a lot, but I've started to write more and talk a lot more about customer experience or client experience in our case. Well, if you really need to go and do an audit on that, is what would your perception be if you went through the process with you? In other words, if you were your client, and from the time that you get there, you have it, you arrive at the office or you arrive at the coffee shop or wherever you are meeting, what is the experience? How do I feel when I leave them? And that is something that we really need to talk about, and that we truly need to consider. There's a number of advisors who insist they see 95% or more of their clients at their offices, at their own office. So the clients are coming there. So instead of seeing 3 clients a day, they can easily see 5 or 6 clients a day, spend quality time with them, do great work. But just because they're cutting out their their travel time, it's a lot better. Now, the other option obviously is then to go virtual and to have a discussion like this. A great friend of mine has recently launched a new virtual planning service, Almo Lubovsky. So he's launched the virtual planner where they exclusively work virtual with clients in that arena. And he's not the only one. There's also a couple of other people that I know about in South Africa specifically. I'm not even talking about somebody like Kate Holmes, who many of you may know, that has started this virtual thing back in Las Vegas, a number of years back. So there they've been doing it because they've got the access, they've got broadband, they had all of that a long time before we got it. But now with access to fiber and data deals, it's becoming more accessible for people to actually have virtual meetings. And if you look at something like Zoom, the amount of data that uses, even if you use video, it is not that bad. I had an hour meeting the other day. It was 70 megabytes of data when we recorded this. So it's more or less the same. And if you're using mobile and those kind of things to connect, it also throttles, or it also changes the standard of the video so that it doesn't take as much data. So that's becoming more and more a reality and more an option for us to actually go and meet with clients virtually. So definitely in my business, I'm going to really consider when somebody wants to meet, like, do we need to get together face to face? Because a lot of my meetings happen in Sandton, Fourways, Pretoria, and often we can just hop on a Zoom call, have a discussion face to face. It's live, so it's interactive. We can record the meeting for reference for later on. And I just think there's so many more opportunities, and we save all of that travel time. And I'm not even talking about petrol and wear and tear on my car or anything like that. So that we really keep the face-to-face meetings for those meetings that must be a face-to-face meeting. And I don't know what your feelings are on that, and where do you think things are going? Are you set up to be able to take advantage of that and to create more time for you? The number one thing that advisors are struggling with currently is to have enough time to get to everything. So they feel that they're working harder and harder and harder, but they look at the income and that's not going up and up and up. And still, even when you offer services that will create time, they still need to know this is what I'm doing and this is what I should be focused on. So I think at least one of the things that we can consider is how do we cut down on travel time significantly. So that's one of the things we'll explore this year and see how we can help people with that, and just put processes and systems and technology in place that will make it so much easier for them and for their clients. And I mean, imagine you can just quickly have a meeting with somebody in their lunchtime. They only have half an hour. I can promise you that if you get together for half an hour face to face, the chances of you getting through what you want to get through, it's almost none. But if you do it online, you'll get through quite a lot. All right, so thank you very much. And my name is Francois. I'll see you in the next live stream. And be sure to catch us on everything else that we're doing. Thanks a lot and cheers.